my boys and I just picked up something that we're using. And have you ever watched that show, The Bear? I know you don't watch much TV.
No, never even heard of it.
So it's about a kitchen, like a high-end kitchen in New York, and it's like, I guess I've never worked in a kitchen, but they're known for being wild, right? A wild place with like very like coarse language and pointed criticism. And on that show, and it's based on a true story, the two chefs had this thing where they rub their chest, and they're the two people that are in charge, and it's basically saying like, hey, I don't agree with you, the pressure's on right now, we have a team and a mission to finish, this sucks, leave me alone, and let's talk about it later. So my sons, they have this code word when I'm coaching them, because I am coaching them. It's weird having your dad as the coach.
For sure.
You know, I guarantee I'm harder on them than I am on the other ones.
Guarantee it.
But my sons know that if they do this to me, they're basically respectfully telling me to shut up and let's talk about it later. And it doesn't mean we're not going to talk about it. I've said that to them, because sometimes it's coaching attitude, sometimes it's coaching the actual baseball game. But it's like, hey, enough. You're pushing me over the edge. I don't want to react negatively. Let's talk about this later.
Right.
So that's kind of
pretty cool.
That rubbing the chest over the heart with your fist.
Right.
So it's not real noticeable, but it is to me when I see him do that. I know that it's time to like, okay.
It's like a code word, yeah.
Oh, so you were away on vacation, man. We recorded the podcast.
Yes.
Sans you, which is sans French. Without.
Oh, sans you. That's funny.
I had Ben from Not a Poor Decision sit in. You got his coffee mug right there.
Yes, that's right.
But we missed the barista. Ben brought energy drinks last week, which might have been the right move for you today, maybe.
An energy drink? You haven't had an energy drink in like...
That's what I said.
Damn.
They've been kind of like a little bit of a guilty pleasure since I quit drinking. I have them like once in a blue moon, though. Like I'm even talking like maybe one a month.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm drinking out of my... gotta give this guy a shout out. Sean LeBlanc. Sean and Roxy team, they sponsor our coffee bar here.
Yeah.
How cool is that for the members?
Super cool.
They like put the little... What are those things called? The coffee
Keurig machine.
Yeah, Keurig machine for everybody, and they get after it.
Yeah, Sean knows how to do it.
Yeah, so you're running late today. I'm running late. We don't normally shoot this thing on Fridays.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a quick episode. We're having a little bit of battery issue, but we're going to have some fun with it and give you guys something to enjoy.
Yes, as always, something to enjoy.
Yeah, so let's kick this right off. Let's start with the Morning Wood, sponsored by Mike Difazio. Reclaim Artistry. If you want to go see him, look him up on Instagram. Get yourself a table, get yourself a coffee table, footstool, chair, anything you can dream up.
I would love to make a very cool footstool, yeah.
Wait, do you have it here?
I've done it.
I don't know why that came, but it was because of the table here. It's not a foot table, but
footstool, coffee table, it's the same thing.
I am going to pull up the question of the day here today.
I love questions.
Okay, the question of the day, if I can ever find it. Where's my profile? It came through on comments today, and it was actually very specific and maybe something for you a little bit. Okay. So, all right. My son's a crier. He puts it on himself. We're talking about on the baseball diamond. I was talking about today. There's too many kids crying on the baseball field, right?
Okay.
And on the football field and on the sports field in general. Too many little boys are crying over striking out and missing foul balls or missing pop flies or losing, right? And we walk through it often, but I also want to give him space about it. He's made so many strides in this area, but in those pressure moments, he still emotionally falls apart. I wish I knew how to help him through this and make these cries a less of a part of his life. Can you help? So that's a deep one.
That is a deep one.
That's
and like
a deep one today.
I feel like you having two boys, especially two boys in playing sports like they do, you're going to have a whole different explanation for this. And I'm going to have one by just running a team of guys and like just my own experience. I would say without having boys yet, my boy's on his way. The bun is in the oven.
The bun is in the oven.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. What I would say is just like let him feel it. Like let it hurt. Like let him kind of just have at it. Yeah, like it's just like, like the people that will fail faster and the people that will fail more often will have more reps kind of in their back pocket. They're going to have more experience, like just failing. They're going to learn how to succeed by failing. And that's just part of essentially falling forward. If they're striking out or whatever it is in the sports world, I don't really even know what that means, but
yeah, sports guy, but I mean, I think this applies outside of sports.
100%.
And that's why it's important.
Yeah, because like if they're striking out and they're still playing the game, they're falling forward. Like they will learn, and you know what? Pain's a great teacher.
Yeah.
So like if they're striking out, they're crying about it, they're sad, it hurts. Like that's good because they're gonna remember that. They're gonna learn from that, and they're gonna take that with them for the rest of their lives. You know, they'll eventually not have to cry about it anymore because they're gonna be built past it because they're falling forward.
Yeah, so I know we're going to get that post in particular is going to get comments all over the place. It always does when it involves kids. See, I agree and disagree with you, I guess. So for me, I understand, being a person who plays sports, that there's moments you feel so low and so crappy about yourself that you do want to cry. And maybe it is like striking, and there's difference in the moment too, right? Like striking out in a regular game versus striking out in the championship game with a tying run on third base.
True.
You know, like, which we had happen to a kid this year. And you know, I felt in that moment, it's like, man, okay, feel that emotion, let it go, and then let's move on. However, what I'm seeing on the field and what I'm more talking about, I guess, in my post that I made, and to me, this parent that I'm reading that comment from understands that the value of the failure and is not protecting her child from striking out, which I don't think any parent should do. It's like, these kids are playing 30 games. We've played already 15 games this year.
Wow.
Every single kid has struck out. Every single kid has dropped the ball. And normal. Like, even if we were like playing the pros, every single guy would have struck out by now, right?
Right.
So it's the fact that continuously crying and letting that failure negatively impact you is kind of where I was going with that. It's not the feeling crappy about yourself. It's about the fact that you're going to shut down, cry, and sit on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
To me. Like, that's what I'm talking about, the too many boys
Right.
crying on the field.
Yeah.
You know, you come back there with tears, and there's a couple of little boys on my team, they come back with tears. You can see them holding in their lip, and then they get right back into it, and they cheer on it. That's
different.
That's failure with success.
Well, yeah, like,
that's failing forward.
Forward,
Crying,
yeah. Exactly.
throwing your bat, sitting on the bench, having to be like talked into going back on the game, that's not failing forward to me.
No.
There's a difference. And what I'm trying to get past to my kids, and when I say my kids, I'm actually talking about the kids I coach as well, is that like that emotion I talked about a little bit with Ben last week when you're gone is like a slingshot. That emotion comes in and you pull back that band, feel that emotion as tight as it gets, and now it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It's got to go outward, right? And it's going to come out with you slamming your bat, you know, maybe lipping off to a coach or just sulking on the bench, or it's going to come out to shooting forward in a positive direction, right? Like, we're going to either shoot that thing down or shoot that thing up. So for me, I think like one of the things that I'm trying to teach is that understanding that emotion, understanding that, yeah, it feels crappy, and it's okay to feel crappy. It's okay to feel like you want to cry. It's even okay to like have the tears come down a little bit, as long as it's not impacting your team and the overall mission of success, which is winning.
For sure.
And like, if you can relate that to the world. So for me, I'm saying one of the great ways to do that is you can't be happy and sad at the same time, right? You can't have emotions from the two different, this is what I've learned, I could be wrong on this, but this is what I've learned from a good sources. You can't have emotions on both sides of those spectrums at once. So if the second you fail, you know, you suck it up, you feel it, you breathe, you walk back to the dugout, or you look around because you just dropped the ball in the infield, and you look at, you know, the guy across, or the next batter up, I fail, I strike out, and the second I turn and I go like, let's go, Mike, come on, baby, let's go.
Yeah.
The second I turn that back around, I start to feel better, right? The second that I go over and high five somebody and say, hey, listen, that was a tough pitch, this guy's a good pitcher, you go get him for me. Yeah. I've changed my whole mindset on things.
100%.
So teaching a kid to like immediately respond to that negative with a, you know, like, hey, pound that glove and say like, hey, I got this, I want the next one, hit the next one at me. Like, that's a different way of failing forward. So I think absolutely. Like we're talking about a lot of the same thing, but I think maybe in a different kind of.
Yeah, you have a different context with it, being a coach, having boys, you know, and playing sports, right? Like, I don't have any of that, but I do understand it from having a team like myself, like running my own guys.
A million times. I mean, look at the sport you played. Yeah. It wasn't a sport, but it is a freaking sport. These X game nonsense that you do. Yeah. Like, I always wonder when I watch those things that you do, like the skateboarding and like all these. You know, I know you were more into longboards. Yeah. But like, how do you learn that without falling and failing a million times?
Dude.
And talking about crying, falling off your skateboard, smacking off one of those rails and having to get back up and try it again. That is courage.
Yeah. You got, there's road rash, there's busted bones, I still have dents in my shins. Like, you ever dented your shin, Skateboard hits it real hard, it's gonna hurt. Anyways, but it's like, it's all failing forward. But one of the things you said, like, when these guys are failing and they're going back to the dugout and they're like they're keeping their spirits high, I guess that is like having a higher emotional intelligence, I guess, where you actually are able to understand the impact and the energy that you're putting out, because people are feeding off it, whether you want to acknowledge that or not. So if you struck out and you're real bummed about it, you got the tears coming down your eyes or whatever, it's like, you can understand that, you can feel it for a second, but you got to understand at the same time, your team is still counting on you to continue to help them up, and that goes both ways.
And it does have everything, I guess, depends on the lens you're looking at it through.
Yeah.
In the team sport, shutting down is very detrimental.
Right.
In an individual sport, so I was in one of the comments that I noticed, and I hadn't read it back yet, a good friend of mine, Will, who's a sensei out in Utah, it trains, I want to say judo. I don't know if I mess up the martial art there, forgive me, but coaches tons of kids, and that, I feel like that is also different. I know judo, you probably is team aspect to it too, but like when you're on that match, it is like you mano a mano, running a track meet.
One guy,
you are part of a bigger team in track as well, but you are running one-on-one. Yeah. So you can not relish is the bad word, but you can sit in that negative space a little bit longer there, reflect, feel that. Yeah. And I'm not saying there's no time to cry, but there is those moments. And I think we need to also help kids understand with perspective. Like, you know what? Look around.
Yeah.
We're in LaSalle, Ontario. It's 80 degrees and sunny, and you're on a travel baseball team that your parents pay a lot of money for you to be involved with, to wear these beautiful uniforms and have fun with your friends.
Right.
There's nothing here that should make you cry. That should make you so sad that you cry. It should make you want to do better.
Yeah.
It should make you, upset that but you should immediately be like, okay, what can I do to fix this?
Right.
And another thing for the parents, I think, is to look at, and having coached now hundreds of kids in sports, is like, is it you? Are you putting too much pressure on the kid? Is the kid crying because he puts pressure on himself? Or we're talking about 9-year-olds.
Right.
Where do they create that? Where does that come? That pressure is not coming just internally. That pressure is coming externally.
Yeah,
and whether I don't think, the parents on my teams or that mostly parents that I've encountered in sports are doing that out of malice by any means. And I know I do the same thing. My boys and I know, maybe this will help people. My boys and I just picked up something that we're using. And have you ever watched that show, The Bear? I know you don't watch much TV.
No, never even heard of it.
So it's about a kitchen, like a high-end kitchen in New York, and it's like, I guess I've never worked in a kitchen, but they're known for being wild, right? A wild place with like very like coarse language and pointed criticism. And on that show, and it's based on a true story, the two chefs had this thing where they rub their chest, and they're the two people that are in charge, and it's basically saying like, hey, I don't agree with you. The pressure's on right now. We have a team and a mission to finish. This sucks. Leave me alone, and let's talk about it later. So my sons, they have this code word when I'm coaching them, because I am coaching them. It's weird having your dad as the coach.
For sure.
I guarantee I'm harder on them than I am on the other ones.
Guarantee it.
But my sons know that if they do this to me, they're basically respectfully telling me to shut up and let's talk about it later. And it doesn't mean we're not going to talk about it. I've said that to them, because sometimes it's coaching attitude, sometimes it's coaching the actual baseball game, but it's like, hey, enough. You're pushing me over the edge, and I don't want to react negatively. Let's talk about this later.
Right.
So that's kind of
pretty cool.
That rubbing the chest over the heart with your fist.
Right.
So it's not real noticeable, but it is to me when I see him do that. I know that it's time to okay.
It's like a code word. Yeah. I mean, like definitely having, and I've had like Lisa's dad was her teacher for a bit. Like being that close to teachers, coaches, bosses, whatever. Right. Like when the line between family and work, or friends and work, or whatever, sports, gets blurry, it's like it's really easy to like overcoach or overcorrect because you care so much more, because there's something other than just an employee. It's like that's an employee plus my best friend, or that's my teammate plus my son kind of thing.
Joe working here, it's Danny's brother. Like, Danny is the operations manager. Like, Joe's a great employee. But there are times with everybody when you have to go and make corrections, whether that's for performance, attitude, anything, or just general constructive, like, let's get better. Right. And it is awkward every single time for me, let alone I'm sure her. So I hope that helps with the comment. We appreciate the comments, and we're gonna do a better job. I'm gonna start to sending out like little pointed emails, maybe with little bit highlights and things, and like
super cool.
Hey, like if this question resonates with you, please listen to this episode. For those people that aren't, and but my kids. So speaking of my kids, I'm sitting on the coffee, having my espresso time like I do every day with Danny, and they're like, "What are you gonna talk about on the podcast today?" My boys. Yeah, who's coming on the podcast today? I'm like, "Oh, just me and Mr. Mike. It's every other episode, always us. What are you gonna talk about?" And they're like, "You know what? I don't know. Mike's been on vacation, July 4th. That post, we always like to go back to posts we had." And I'm like, "What do you think we should talk about?" And they're like, "You should play a game." So them and Danny come up with this overrated or underrated.
Okay.
And they've done something inside this envelope.
Okay.
So if you see, Fahad, my man, if you zoom in on that, overrated, underrated, and there's some cards in here. So I feel like the point of the game from what they explained is I'm going to pull this out, I'm going to read them, and you and I are going to say overrated or underrated.
Okay, I love it.
Sound good?
Yes, love it.
Sound good, all right.
That's like that pizza game that we were doing though.
All right. Hey, you mind popping your eye while I open this envelope, just to see how that battery situation's holding up without hitting the camera too hard? We good?
Black screen.
Oh, that's probably good. Just tap the screen maybe.
We're good.
We're good? We got percentages left?
I'll check that part. Oh, we're 97. We're rocking.
Oh, it hasn't even moved.
No,
okay, we're good. Yes. Maybe we did figure this out. Maybe it's just me again. Maybe it always does that.
Hey, it's working, whatever it's doing.
All right. So I didn't read these before. Obviously, they're sealed up by my kids. So we're going to go. This one starts off hot. I'm going to give you a couple, but you'll be able to read. So we'll start this one. I'll start with me. You do the next one.
Okay.
So Mike and Tony, overrated or underrated? Chest hair. So you start chest hair.
Okay, well, chest hair.
This made a comeback. No, as you have a mustache. Like I know you're going with this one.
Yeah. Love having a mustache. I literally feel like see, you know what? You got a lot more chest hair than I do. I literally had like 14 chest hair until I was like 32. This year I got chest hair coming all over my chest here. But it's all right. It's all right. I think it's because I shaved it into a mustache. I have my mustache now, and I think I'm growing chest hair. Just like it's like seeing its old friend.
So you're going chest hair, overrated or underrated?
What's different because I never had it, right? So it's awesome because it's new for me. So I'm loving
underrated
it. Then. Maybe I don't know. I think it's underrated.
I'm going 100% underrated.
It's definitely underrated because it's actually awesome.
Because I spent years and years, like, the 90s, the 2000s, like, dudes, like, especially muscular guys, you shaved your chest.
Yeah.
And during COVID, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm a 40-year-old man and I'm shaving my chest and like, it's a lot of work to keep up with this, and I'm not an overly hairy guy.
Right.
But like, I have enough chest hair, and it was driving me crazy. And you know what? As soon as I stopped shaving my chest hair, everybody started noticing. People like dudes are making fun of me, like, "Oh, you got that." But chest hair, I don't care. And Danny says a man should have chest hair.
I kind of agree.
And then there's a lot of women that are in the gym that like this is a topic of the conversation all the time in here, and they say the same thing, right? Dudes should have chest hair, especially in your 40s.
Hey, look, if you can grow it, show it.
Yeah. All right, so chest hair, two underrated.
We got 2 underrated. All right, my turn here. Oh, this is a pretty good one. Las Vegas.
Oh.
You start with this one. You got more. I think you know more about this than me.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I have been to Las Vegas an embarrassingly amount of times. Like I'm up around 20 trips to Vegas.
Wow.
And I am gonna have to say, currently, status is overrated, unfortunately. I've never had a bad time in Vegas. The way that things have gone there with the prices, the cheapness of, you used to be able to sit at the table and enjoy yourself and gamble at a reasonable rate and get fed drinks and all these things, but it has just stopped. And even I used to go gamble, and we'd go sit. Part of our guys' trip is we'd go, and we'd always go there during the NBA and NHL playoffs, so we could go sit in the sports books with the huge screens and bet money on the games, and they would feed you drinks, right? And we'd bet, $100. There's nothing crazy, but you drink basically unlimited.
Yeah,
right?
$100
as many Heinekens as you want,
yeah.
and now you go there with $100, they give you like one drink ticket, and they're not giving you anything else. Like I just feel like it's become too much. It's still beautiful and like extravagant, and I was just there like, I don't know if it was last summer or last spring, and it was amazing. I had so much fun, but of the places I go, I'm gonna have to say underrated.
Yeah,
overrated. You?
Fair. I think that it's overrated. I've never been, but I feel like it's overrated. I don't like gambling. I hardly drink. Now, like I just want to go when I'm going to vacation or adventuring somewhere. I want to be in nature, like big cities, man. I know that Vegas is hardly even a city. It's like it's a whole different thing.
It's an incredible place. I gotta say that.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, you gotta go see it.
Yeah, it's something that Lisa and I've talked about going there to see it. But I feel like it'd be like a one trip.
There's not much. I gotta say, there's not many things in the world as amazing as a Las Vegas pool party. If you're in the right setup. We went one time and had like this like sick cabana thing, and like, oh my God, was it fun?
Yeah, I bet.
Right? Was it fun? And I was there another time with Danny and for Randa's fight, and we went to this pool party with some friends. Oh man, like the pool parties are amazing, and like it's cool. You don't even have to go out at night.
Right.
At night like you
all
can
day.
Just kind of chill and you go walk around and look at the lights and stuff. But yeah, it's a fun place. But I'm gonna say on the whole grand scheme of things,
overrated. That's two for overrated.
All right, so here we go. We got another. How many do the boys make here? This is like, they're homeschool. We're on summer break too. What on earth does this say? Oh, they need to wear. Yeah, this one is perfect. Fixer Jeff inspires. So Fixer Jeff is my neighbor, and Jeff McGee.
Okay.
Right, my old neighbor, and Jeff is obsessed with Milwaukee power tools. And so they say Milwaukee power tools. Overrated or underrated? So I feel like you are way more an expert on this.
All my tools are Milwaukee.
Oh
yeah. Here's the thing though. So like when you start buying tools, it's like almost like the first one you buy, you're gonna continue buying those. Why? All the batteries work with all the tools. So like I have all Milwaukee now, Sawzall, grinder, drills, circular saws. I have all the Milwaukee stuff. If I bought a DeWalt, it would be like, right. Why would I do that? Like I can just charge all my batteries. I got like 15 of them now. It's just, I don't know.
But are they what they cracked up to be? Are these things overrated or underrated?
Oh man, this is like, I feel like there's an entire podcast in that one.
Well, yeah,
because it's like DeWalt and Milwaukee. Those two go hand in hand.
Well, we've got this whole like different demographic of people that listen to us now. Because you're like the woodworker, and with you comes like. We're getting like the concrete guys. We're getting guys who like probably didn't listen to my show before.
Yeah.
Commenting. So like we might have just caused debates on some job sites.
I feel yeah. So I feel okay. So my take on it, because I've thought about this a lot. Every time I'm doing renovations in a building, it's DeWalt. Anytime I'm seeing specialty tools, I feel like it's more Milwaukee. Milwaukee has crazy specialty tools I've never seen for electrical, plumbing, stuff like that. DeWalt might have them too. I've never seen it.
Bro, my take, Fixer Jeff there really kind of bullied me into switching to Milwaukee by making fun of me. My like cheap like Canadian Tire brand, the Weeze or whatever the hell I had.
Yeah.
But I have Milwaukee yard tools.
Right.
And bro, like, remember I did that post and we talked about it? Some hater was like making fun of my battery powered chainsaw.
Yeah.
I have like a good like whatever it is, pool and chainsaw, like gas powered chainsaw. My Milwaukee battery operated chainsaw fucking destroys that one.
Yeah.
Like it is awesome. My weed whacker, it's like a freaking lawnmower, man.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna go underrated. These things for the tools that I actually use,
it's insane.
Are like way underrated.
Yeah.
Like get a Milwaukee tool,
and get battery powered ones.
Get all of it. Get all the stuff on the outside. And yeah, you're right with the batteries. The batteries are expensive.
They are, but man, like you just said, they replace the gas engine.
Yeah.
And it's like it's $150 maybe for one of those batteries.
I chop trees on like that smaller, like with the smaller battery, and I'll be out there 6 hours running that thing.
Yeah.
nonstop and through like trees that are 18 inches thick or more. It's crazy how good that thing works.
The batteries
boys.
The batteries are incredible.
You
have a Milwaukee thing over here too. I saw it when I walked in.
Yeah, well, right now the fish flies have been hitting Amherstburg. I don't know if they hit where you are.
Yeah, they did.
They just finished out here, and we had the Milwaukee here because my leaf blower that I usually have at home, also a bazooka of a leaf blower. This thing, is like, woo, we get rid of all these things before we come in. Because Joe, we spoke about my brother-in-law. He's a lot of good things, but he is a baby when it comes to bugs. So we got to get these things out of here for him.
So Milwaukee, I'm going to say underrated. And guys, do not buy Ryobi, and don't buy Ryobi.
Yeah,
Spend a little bit more and get a tool.
He was pulling my man card.
Good.
So the boys make fun of me because I try to be like Fixer Jeff with the tools, but I'm nowhere near the fixer he is.
Fair enough. All right, this is a good one. Tacos.
Oh.
Underrated or overrated? This is a good one, actually.
You're never going to tell me that a taco's overrated. I could live on tacos. And we're talking about the food here, boys, just so you know, like, keep your heads out of it. But both.
Hey,
But both, for the record.
They definitely drew a taco.
They definitely drew the right taco. Okay, yeah. I gotta go with underrated still. The simplicity, but you can add the complexity, the taste, the health. I mean,
right?
Man,
how clean can you make a taco? Super clean.
Super clean. Right?
Yeah.
Like I can live on tacos, and that's all I eat when we go to Mexico. They make fun of me. I eat taco after taco.
Unreal tacos in Mexico, honestly. Yeah.
So what about you? You going?
Okay. So I actually feel like tacos are overrated, but I absolutely love tacos.
We're disagreeing on something. Why overrated that?
Just because it's like bacon. Everybody goes crazy for bacon. They put bacon on everything all the time. Everything has bacon. And I'm like, it's good, but I'm not going to like change my life for it, you know? Like same with I feel like tacos are kind of in that same area.
Really?
But I love tacos. I absolutely love tacos. It's like a vessel for beautiful ingredients.
I would say like, I know bacon's not a topic, but bacon, it depends.
Yeah.
Bacon's like, man, like you get that thick cut real bacon rather than like the Schneider's.
True.
Like, like whatever those like generic Kirkland or something. Bacon. Like we're talking totally different. You go over to Weigel's right now and grab some of his thick cut bacon that's been cured by him. Oh man. Like, that you can't match. And speaking of Weigel's, did you see my story last night?
No.
Did you see the pork loin that I got from him?
Yes.
What? What the hell was this?
You're cooking moose cock.
I didn't notice till literally flopped it on the grill like you would a big wiener, I guess. If I knew what that was like. But boom, on the grill, and I'm like, what is this? Like, is Colin messing with me? I'm like, message him right away with a picture. I'm like, you're taking Pride Month too far, buddy. What is this?
Dude, that's so funny.
I'm uncomfortable eating this, but I'm starving.
It's funny because I opened Facebook, and like it was at the top where the snaps of the stories, and I was like, what is Tony doing? What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, when I put that out there, I got some of the funniest comments, and from some, I said about the Pride Month, that was actually a joke that came from one of my friends who's gay. Like, it was hilarious. That was his comment to me, my comment back to the butcher. So funny, man, so funny. All right, so I'm moving on. Oh, here we go. Man, the boys are rocking this one. Okay, this has been my son, my oldest. We spoke with baseball. His walk-up song is "Lose Yourself." By Eminem. And so Eminem, overrated or underrated? I mean, how could you say? I don't know.
I don't know. And it's like, because there's been like different.
Like what stage of the game? It's just that we're talking career. So I guess we can define the parameters of this when you speak. So what's your opinion?
The dude was incredible back then, man. Like some of his old stuff was just amazing. Some of his new stuff's a little bit weird, but he's still just he's great. I don't know. I kind of feel like at this point, I feel like he's probably overrated. At this point. Back then, I think he was underrated. Yeah,
I'm going to go with underrated. I see what you're saying and kind of agree. The perspective I'm going to shed on this is like, Colt, my oldest, he just gets into everything and likes to learn all the way. And he's been talking some Eminem stats. And this is why I'm going underrated. The things that this man has accomplished, like in rap, from like where he's come from to like almost breaking the opposite color barrier, like how he's accepted, like, and like, it's almost like that community of rap is just like, doesn't see color at all, which is pretty awesome.
Which is amazing, yeah.
And, but like the amount of words that he's rapped in like a small period of time, like Rap God, I think, he like spits off these lyrics and says X amount of words in X amount of time. And like, when my son's reading me these stats, I'm like, get out of here. Are you serious? Like from that perspective, like not even talking music, just talking about accomplishments, like all of that. And like, I really think in a weird kind of way, he's brought society together away, which is like, seems really weird when there's a guy who's talking about stabbing people in the face and murdering his baby mama and all these things. But like, he's done it with such, I don't know, and over the longevity. So that's where I'm going with the underrated of Eminem. So we're disagreeing on a few of these things.
That's all right.
Which is good. But
this is good.
This is why we say it's all about the lens that you put on it. Like, because we're both making good arguments.
Yeah, there's great points on both sides. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, what do you got? You got any more?
No, that's
the
my
last
one.
I got the last one. We'll let you read this one. I
Crocs.
It's definitely directed at me.
Crocs. The shoe.
Crocs. The shoe. With a little drawing of something there.
Okay. I don't own Crocs, but whenever I'm at my mom's house and there's Crocs there, I'm putting them on. I'm going to say that I think Crocs are underrated because I feel like they're still not accepted by everybody, and I don't even have a pair yet. I maybe not. I don't even think I have accepted them yet, but they are ridiculously and weirdly comfortable.
They are so comfortable. I have had the same pair of Crocs for 20-something years. Like, whenever Crocs came out, I got a pair, and they look like military kind of Crocs.
Yeah.
I think they're sick. Everybody in here makes fun of me for wearing them all the time, but the Crocs, I feel like my generation started wearing them because we were around then when they came out.
Yeah.
You'd wear them to college and stuff,
Yeah.
But now, every single kid, like when I go tonight, I'm going to go to my kid's baseball game, and every one of the brothers of the kids who's just watching, they will have Crocs on with socks. Yeah. They all have them on.
Yeah.
And they all, they do racer mode, right? Like,
or 4x4 where they put a little strap down. Yeah.
But these kids are hilarious in these Crocs. So I feel like in my age group right now, they are definitely underrated. Yeah. Because there's not enough of us dads wearing these things. We should have these things rocking on all the time, and I should be wearing mine more.
There you go.
Start today. You and I bought Uggs at the same time.
I never got any.
You didn't get the Uggs?
No, I didn't get Uggs, but I should probably get Uggs.
Also underrated for men.
Oh, for sure. What blew my mind when I started learning about Uggs is they were meant for men. They were made for men first.
Built for men. Built to last. That was the name of our podcast that just came out.
Yeah, built to last.
We were talking about all this stuff that's built to last, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that. So I'm gonna go Crocs underrated. You're going Crocs underrated, and we're gonna get.
They're underrated.
We're gonna get on Amazon or whatever, the Crocs.com right now, and see if we can pick ourselves out.
I think I'm gonna get some black ones. Guess they get like those little like ornaments for them.
Yeah,
too.
I was gonna say I'm not a big fan of the pins that go in them, all the different things. What would you get? Like a hammer?
Maybe. That sounds pretty sick. Right.
I'm gonna get a pork loin. That's a pork loin that I put on.
Yeah, it didn't look like a pork loin.
It's like he carved it like that.
Yeah, I know.
And if he did, that is the greatest joke of all time. But imagine that went to the wrong customer.
Yeah, on accident.
Like, I appreciated it very much. Like, that goes to the wrong guy. He might be coming back, firing that thing through the window.
I feel like you need to explain what it actually was.
Oh, yeah, I guess if you guys can go, maybe, if I had to pull up, don't, I don't know, we might get canceled. Yeah. We already got censored once, we think. So, yeah, it was just basically a huge piece of pork loin. Everybody knows what a pork loin looks like, I guess. It's almost like a piece of beef that's like tubular. And the top of it, whether it was on purpose by my butcher or just random luck, was shaped like the crown of a penis. And it looked like I had this giant moose dick basically on my barbecue. It was crazy. It was wild. It was uncomfortable to eat. I'm like, I don't want to serve this to my kids. I made Danny eat that half. It was just weird. It was just weird. But,
oh, man.
But you're wondering, you're thinking in those movies you watch, eat this and you absorb the power of the movie.
Yeah.
Then go bench press after it.
There you go. It's wishful thinking.
So yeah, man, we were talking about we just finished Canada Day, 4th of July. I know we're always a few weeks behind on our podcast, but Canada Day, you looked like you had a blast.
In Kawartha, yeah.
Yeah.
It was good, yeah.
Were you at a cottage or was that actually Lisa's
No,
parents' place? She posted a bunch of videos today. So
today, yeah, that was
last week.
Yeah, that was all up in Kawartha. It was just like a cottage, Airbnb.
That you rented?
Yeah, dude, honestly, it's the way to go, man. Like, I see what people are spending on cottages, and I'm like, you're never going to get that back. Like,
unless you Airbnb it.
Unless you Airbnb it. Totally different conversation if you're Airbnb-ing it. But if you, like, for me, man, like, we could rent a cottage like that once a week for, like, June, July, August, September, which is really, like, the only time when I think I would enjoy a cottage like that, unless I start hunting. Totally different story. But honestly, what's that going to cost you? $5,000 a year? It's like to buy a cottage, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 cottage.
Yeah.
You're paying a lot more than $5,000 a year.
Bought them 20 years ago, 30 years ago, are the people who are ahead, right?
Right.
And man, talk about a legacy to be able to like hand down.
100%.
I know that the cottage I go to every year, Joe, you've met him a bunch of times. It's Joe's cottage, Joe's family cottage, it's his parents' cottage, and it's been, there's just so many memories. But they bought that thing,
yeah,
and they've done so much work to it. It's as if they built it. However, they did buy it. I mean, I don't know, 30 years ago. I've been going there for so long.
Yeah,
I love it. And you mentioned too, we're going up in a few weeks, and I absolutely love it. It's just the best.
But is it paid off?
The family, I don't know. I'm not going to speak about his
Oh, right. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm thinking this was.
He does Airbnb, and it does run across some problems though, because like you're here and it's there.
Yeah.
Right. Like you got to have somebody who can go and maybe fire up the water heater or unplug a toilet or something, whatever that might be. Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's other things around it. I know when we had the Airbnb that was just around the corner of the cottage.
Yeah.
I felt like I was going there all the time, cutting the grass. So I guess it depends on what you can, what you bought it for, what you can rent it for, and then do you have, enough in that profit margin where you can, 20% can go towards somebody who's housekeeping and landscaping. Because when I had mine, I did not have that luxury, and it was a freaking lot of work, man.
Yeah, crazy. This just like I love the idea of Airbnbs. I will get into them at some point. I already know that 100%. But like when it comes to like buying a personal cottage for myself or like for my family, it's like unless it's paid off, I don't want anything to do with a mortgage on that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like we could go to, and like that was a nice cottage where we were at, like super nice, brand new, sauna, lake, waterfront. Yeah. Like I don't know, like something like that you could rent for like $2,000, $3,000. When we went up to Collingwood that one year, it was like $5,000 for the week. But it was like it slept like 18 people, whatever it was. You split that, you're paying a couple $100 now for a week. It's like if you did that even twice a month, you're still way ahead of buying it and what it would be for carrying the cost.
Living here. So before we started going to Joe, we always went to Joe's cottage growing up, and as young adults, and never really stopped. But then we had little kids.
Yeah.
And it was still Joe's parents. Joe's parents were still like there a lot in the summer. So we would, this group of people that travel together, including Joe, we would go to the States.
Right.
So you're talking that we could go 4 hours instead of, like when your kids are really little, an 8-hour drive is a lot. So we could go 4 or 5 hours and be in like Traverse City area, anywhere really in Michigan.
Right.
And like live it up. And what's awesome is like July 4th just passed. So 6 years ago, July 1st weekend, I sent my email in saying I have 2 weeks left of vacation.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was like leaving for vacation 2 days later. I sent an email in and I quit the police department, right? I said
you gave your 2 weeks?
Yeah, but my 2 weeks were actually vacation.
Was a vacation?
Time.
Nice.
So we left with that whole crew of people. I literally retired, came home, went out. I called, Joe and said, hey, I just quit my job. Meet me. And we went out all night long. Came over with a bottle of tequila. We went crazy all night long.
Wow, that's amazing.
He came to pick us up, and 2 days later we left for this cottage in Michigan, and we end up there for Independence Day. And I remember being like surreal moment in my life, like holy shit, like I just quit my 6-figure job.
Yeah.
I have no plan. My wife already quit, and I'm sitting on this beach with my best friends. And we're drinking some beers, and my little boys are like in the sand between my legs, like we're all in the sand, and we're watching July 4th is such a big deal in
Yeah.
the States, and we're just watching fireworks over this lake. And I just remember thinking like, wow, man, here we go. It was just this like exciting moment, and I love. The point is, I love being a cottage, like you're saying.
Oh, for sure.
Having access to Michigan is just such an advantage for us because you got stuck in that traffic.
Yeah,
that is one thing about going to cottage country in Canada right now in Ontario, southwestern Ontario. From here down is like, if you don't hit that highway in the middle of the night, basically, you get destroyed.
2 hours in sitting. Like what is going on here?
Joe's cottage, we go through the States, we miss all that.
Yeah.
But when the 1 year too, we that same group, we rented one in Michigan, then we're like, oh, let's go to Canada. We went to Muskoka, and it took us 14 hours to get to Huntsville. It was insanity.
Yeah,
and the back roads were plugged, the side roads were plugged, the main road was plugged.
It's insane.
Brutal.
Sucks. You need a helicopter drop in.
Yeah, so you said it took you 14 hours to get home or to get up to
it was 12 hours.
Kingston,
yeah, 12 hours. Because like we got hit with traffic like in Belleville.
Oh my god.
And then it was again in Cambridge, then Toronto, then Dutton. Why is there traffic in Dutton? I don't even know. You know what I mean? It was insane. So we just ended up hitting the back roads and just stopping at all the cool spots and just taking a long way home and like enjoyed the back roads.
Right. So what was the coolest little town you found yourself in?
Port Stanley's amazing.
Man, dude, Port Stanley. Like,
so underrated.
Yeah, underrated.
Yeah.
But man, like very, did you notice all the huge, like, it's almost like they build them like thin but tall there on the beach. Did you see those homes that they put in?
No.
Man, like that used to not be there like 10 years ago. There was not that there. That wasn't there. Now they have these like, and they look amazing. They look like almost like California, like.
Oh, I do actually.
Super cool.
I do know what you're talking about.
What a beautiful beach, man. Yeah. And like you could talk about going in there with the kids. The kids can go out for 500 yards. I don't even know if there's an ending to that that water being that shallow. I never made it to where you were actually in water that like hit my hips, and I'm not very tall.
Yeah, it's super cool. I love the town, man. Like the bridge moves, the boats come in, like the fishing boats, like proper fishing boats.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like we have big waters here, man. It's insane.
There is a lot of water, and that another underrated thing is like the access to water that we have and the fun you can have on it. So any other small towns that maybe I hadn't heard of or been to? Like
tons of small towns that I never even knew existed.
Really?
Like between like Port Stanley and like Amherstburg, all these random little towns. Like
so you decided to get off the 401 and basically take
the waterfront,
Lake Erie down, right?
Yeah.
Because you can and you end up coming back through Leamington and then back up to Amherstburg.
It was like we cut in at Leamington actually.
Did you? So you went through like there's a lot of those towns too, and I used to go up the train up there for SWAT every year, 3 times a year, really. And it's beautiful. What's it going to be called? Oh man,
Ulmer.
The Ulmer is where we went to.
Ulmer.
No, like Cedar Springs. So then there's just east of Cedar Springs. There's those beautiful beach towns, man, that are just, and they're not even developed. They're just like little.
I know, dude. We were in Port Stanley, and I was like, I want to get into a beach town next. I want to buy a beach town.
Yeah.
Like I'm like what I did in Ford City. I'm gonna pull all that same knowledge, the same everything, equity, all of it, and just go dump it into a beach town and be like, now we got a cool beach town over here.
I mean, I love Grand Bend. Grand Bend is one of my favorite places in Ontario. Maybe the nostalgia. I went there last year with Danny and the boys, and it was hilarious. I'm like calling my friends. I'm like, I'm standing where Coco's used to be. It's not here anymore.
It's not there anymore?
No.
They knocked it down?
Yeah, they knocked it down. I mean, I was like, Danny's like, you sound pathetic. Because I'm like asking the young girl remember there's the surf shop where you can buy things, Archie's?
Yeah.
I'm like, that place is still there, but it's even bigger and more beautiful, like, to buy stuff. And I'm like, wasn't that where Coco's was before? And she's like, yeah, they tore it down. And my wife's like, you're pathetic. But it is like nice there now. It's not like
it's weird.
It used to be. It was always nice in terms of like how it looked, but it wasn't maybe like the like fancy place.
Yeah, it wasn't so developed. Yeah.
Yeah,
we had some ragers.
When's the last time you were there?
Oh boy, last time I was there was the most intense time we were there. It was probably 2018 or 2019, and it was like back then. It was like we probably had like 7 cars, 24 dudes, all jacked, all tattooed, all single, and we went to Grand Bend, and we just did a lot of bad things. I just feel like we were so rowdy back then, man. We didn't care about anything. Like we were respectful always, obviously, but like we lived on our own little planet. It felt like we were just being like all fit. I remember just being at the campsite, like working out our arms and shit, like just being douchebags. But it was so fun, man.
Man, we had so much fun down there too. We used to go every year from A24 down there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Isn't it Cristiano, who we usually see, but today we're filming on Friday? Cristiano's going there for his stag, right? His bachelor party.
Oh really?
I believe. Crash it.
That'd be pretty fun. That's this weekend?
Just show up. I'm not sure when. We should.
Funny seeing you here, man.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
He's like, what are you two old guys doing here?
Yeah. That'd be funny.
Oh, yes, it would be. Man, I love this stuff. What you have any more plans for this summer or what? You hitting anything else?
Just working, man. Like that this summer for me, this is gonna be just a working summer for sure.
Hilarious. Mike comes in here today, he's like, oh, I forgot how hard it is to just be working hard all the time. And I'm like, you've been home for vacation. Like, didn't you get home on Tuesday?
It was
like,
3 days.
He's like, 3 days. I'm like, you have forgotten, bro. You have forgotten.
My hands are stained black. I don't even know why.
Oh man, speaking of working, I was driving home from Kingsville this morning. I was like starting to nod off. It's like 10 a.m. in the morning. The sun's coming through my windshield, and by the time Friday hits, and getting up every day at 3:30, 4 o'clock to get to work, I feel it, man.
Yeah,
I definitely feel it.
Dude, that's nuts.
And then you throw that nice warm summertime. You know, I'm just like, I went home, closed my eyes for it. Like I saw Lisa posted about you and your 10-minute naps. I'm like the same.
Oh yeah.
5 minutes, 10 minminutes is all I need.
I need at least 10.
It fires me back up.
Yeah. I need at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes, close my eyes, 10 minutes. I'm sleeping within like 20 seconds.
Overrated, underrated, 10-minute nap.
Oh, underrated. Because I wake up.
You're not even a dad yet. You already hit the dad nap. You've
nap.
already like mastered one of our skills.
Perfect. I've been training for this my whole life. But yeah, 10-minute nap, man. I'll even drink a whole coffee, take a 10-minute nap, and by the time I wake up after that 10 minutes, the caffeine hits, I'm like, boom, bam, ready to rock and roll.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, guys, we appreciate having you along for today. Hopefully we got a little serious, we had a little bit of fun, and we're looking forward to lining up some more guests over the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
And I hope you love what we're doing. And dude, Fahad got a hold of me. The new branding.
Yes.
He's pumped to show me next week. So I have a meeting with him next week to see like the new rebrand of the podcast. It's just time, man. It's time. I got you on board now, and you know it's time to refresh. It's been 150 episodes almost.
It's incredible, man.
Right? So looking forward to that. Looking forward to releasing that. And again, Kevin, I know you're listening, bro. We're holding out to get you a shirt till we can get you the new cool shirts.
Yes.
All right. So be chill on that, and we'll get you guys soon. So remember, if you have your questions, please, we treat any comment that you put on my post or Mike post as a possible morning wood question, and we just appreciate it. Anything you want to see, hear, like, or don't like, actually, just let's just focus on the good. Go there, subscribe, follow us, all those great things. We appreciate you guys so much. We're over and out.
Peace.